All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to talk about TJ Watt being ruled out for this game against the Bills. So I kind of already discussed it, but it was made official. Um, yeah, it's going to be tough with with him being out for this game against the Bills, especially because also the game's in Buffalo, and yeah, it just it's not going to be good. And also, I think this was updated, but the Steelers are 1-10 without TJ Watt. So, yeah, the odds are kind of stacked up against them for this game. And listen again, my dad's a Steelers fan, so I obviously want the Steelers to win. But this is just going to be it's going to be tough. It is really going to be tough, and it's unfortunate because the TJ Watt has never won a playoff game. And you know, you would want to see him get that first playoff win, and it's probably not going to happen this year. Um, so since TJ Watt was drafted, the Steelers' record is actually 69-33-2, and so it is 1-10 without him. So based off of that, you kind of know where I'm leaning. Um, and listen, the Steelers can still win this game. I still believe that there is a chance they can win. I don't give them a great chance, but they do have somewhat of a chance because how they're going to be able to is, well, I mean, kind of what I alluded to before with Green Bay is, continue to run the football against this Bills defense. Bills defense has some injuries, so it's not like the Bills have a healthy defense going into this game. Um, I still think it's a bad matchup for the Steelers. But if the Steelers can continue to run the football effectively, because Najee Harris has been running the football well since Mason Rudolph has taken over, got to slow the game down. Because if you get into a shootout with the Bills, you're not winning. There's no way you're winning this game. There's no chance. But there's also on the other hand, you got a quarterback on the other side in Josh Allen that turns the ball over at least once a game. And it will definitely happen in this game. Because again, I mean, you go back to last year's playoff game. Skylar Thompson was the starting quarterback for the Dolphins, and the final score ended up being, what was it, 34-31. Josh Allen gave away the ball. There was that sack fumble that led to a touchdown. I think he threw another interception. He threw an interception in the game. So listen, the Steelers just got to capitalize. Now, I actually wanted to look. What's Minka Fitzpatrick's status for the game? I don't think he's gonna play either, but we'll see. Oh, okay. So I'm seeing Sports Illustrated headline: Pittsburgh Steelers optimistic about Minka Fitzpatrick return. And then I see from 2 days ago, Minka Fitzpatrick will return versus the Bills on Wild Card Weekend. Okay. Oh, all right. So, I mean, if you get Minka back, that's big. So at least you can get him back. But I think that's really what it comes down to is you gotta slow down this game somehow. Because and I think the Steelers are gonna have to take some risks. You got to take your deep shots when you can to George Pickens. Get him more involved, of course, which they have done, except in the Ravens game. But again, shouldn't really, fault them for that because of the weather conditions that they had to play in. But yeah, I mean, the Bills again, they aren't the same team that they have been these, last couple of years. I mean, they had to go on a run to make the playoffs, and they did. You got to give them credit. But at times it wasn't pretty. I mean, you barely beat Easton Stick and the Chargers, you know. And I think you got to thank Deontay Hardy for that, that punt return the other night, because honestly, I don't. If that doesn't happen, I don't think the Bills win that game. That changed like the whole momentum of that game. But yeah, I mean, I think the Steelers will get turnovers in the game against the Bills, but this is a bad matchup for them. I mean, they played each other last year and the Bills blew them out. I don't know if the same thing's going to happen, but And actually, I think T.J. Watt missed that game too, because I looked up on StatMuse, the games that he missed, and let's see. Yeah, he did miss that game against the Bills. That was when they lost 38-3. Um, yeah, it's wait, who put up? Oh yeah, that was the. Never mind, because I'm looking at another game that he missed too. Um, yeah, it's Oh, actually, the Bills. What did the Bills put up? They put up over 500 yards of offense on them last year. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. And that was that's without T.J. Watt. So I, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Mason Rudolph, he's been doing what he's supposed to do. He fumbled in the game against the Ravens. Well, he fumbled a few times, but they lost one. But he hasn't thrown an interception yet since he's taken over. So we'll see. But again, it's going to be an uphill battle. Because the Bills, listen, they had a disappointing end to their season last year against the Bengals. I thought that game was going to be great. The Bengals go right down the field, and you thought, all right, here come the Bills, and then it just, you know, it never really got to that point. The Bengals kind of just dominated the Bills at home. Um, but we'll see. Are we going to get, the game that we got last year when the Bills played the Steelers in the regular season, or are we going to get a game like the Bills played in the playoffs against the Dolphins, with Skylar Thompson? It remains to be seen, and that game is that's the first game on Sunday. That's at 1 o'clock on CBS, or 1 o'clock Eastern time on CBS. So that gets us started. The second day of Super Wildcard Weekend. Thankfully, all of the games will be televised. We won't have to. There's no streaming service we have to use. It's just on Saturday, the Peacock game. Um, so, um, but yeah, so this game will be the first game to get us started on Sunday, and we'll see. But listen, I mean, I give the Steelers credit for getting here, because after the losing to the Patriots and the Cardinals, two last place teams, it just looked like they were done. But and then they lost to the Colts after that. But they winning these last three games and getting in. I mean, they got a little bit of help, but they're in. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, they've been running the football well. They were running it better ever since Mason Rudolph's taken over. George Pickens had two over 100-yard games. I think against the Bengals, he almost had 200 yards. And again, the Ravens game, not going to fault him, for not getting the ball. He had a carry in the game, but it's because of the weather conditions. So that's who you're going to have to go to, and get Freiermuth involved, Deontay Johnson. These guys are going to have to make plays. But they have a chance. Like I said, I think they have a chance, but if they have to get into a shootout, they're not going to be able to keep up with the Bills, unless the Bills give them the ball, like Josh Allen turns it over. So I mean, I think at this point it's like almost a lock that Josh Allen's going to turn the ball over at least one time. I mean, you look at the other night, on that 4th-and-2 play, he just throws it up into the end zone and it gets picked off. And again, I said this, my friends were like, why didn't they just bat it down? You get the ball close to midfield, but they didn't do that. That was basically an arm punt. And then also there was that bad the first interception where him and Gabe Davis, there was miscommunication there, and that ended up getting picked off. So, and the Steelers, they have played the Bills, these last couple of years. They played them in 2021. The Steelers actually won that game. That was the first week of the regular season. The Steelers won that game. Then they played each other last year. Bills obviously blew them out. That was with Kenny Pickett starting. Um, but maybe with Mason Rudolph now at quarterback, maybe it'll be different. Well, you go back to was it 2019? Yeah, 2019 with Duck Hodges. Yeah. Oh wait, and they also played in 2020. They played in 2020 as well in Buffalo. Forgot about that. The Bills won that game. That was like a weird score. It was like I think it was like 26-15. That score was. So yeah, they've played each other every single year since. I don't think they played in 2018. So they played each other since 2019 with different quarterbacks. Yeah, Duck Hodges. You had or Devlin Hodges is his real name, but I like to say Duck Hodges. Then you had Roethlisberger the next 2 years. Then you had Kenny Pickett last year, and now you got Mason Rudolph. So we'll see. We'll see with Mason Rudolph. Can Mason Rudolph get it done? Probably not, but we will see. And like I said, I will be rooting for the Steelers, but the Bills, I think I'm leaning towards them being my pick. And like I said, I'll do the bracket at the end of the week, and what the my Super Bowl prediction is going to be. So make sure to tune in for that, because we also have we also got the baseball show on Friday as well. So the Friday doubleheader going into the weekend. But yeah, it's but especially like when you have T.J. Watt, who I keep saying quarterback of the defense, it's gonna be hard because he could take over a game. I mean, we saw him score a touchdown in the playoffs. When the Chiefs were trying to do a trick play and it ended up and that was the handoff play that got botched, and T.J. Watt ended up taking that into the end zone for the touchdown. That put the Steelers ahead against the Chiefs, and you thought, oh, maybe the Steelers are gonna. Nah, I mean, there was even after that, there was like, Chiefs are gonna come back, and they did. So, yeah, I mean, that's what he could do. He could take over a game, and now when you don't have that, if he was playing, I mean, even if he was playing in this game, it's still going to be an uphill battle for the Steelers to win. But at least with him there, he could force a turnover on his own. You sack Allen, you get a fumble, and you get good field position, and get points out of it. But, now you don't have him. So, but we'll see what the Steelers have up their sleeve going into this game. So, but yeah, T.J. Watt will not be playing. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So that's it with this topic here. So when we come back from our final break of the show, we'll talk about the updated draft order, and that'll be it. Because at least for the like I said, for the top 10, we'll look through that. Because obviously with the playoffs, depending on where when teams get eliminated and who ends up winning the Super Bowl, that's the the late round picks. They are that part of the draft is not finalized yet, but we at least have who's picking number one officially. And at least for the top 10, that's that order at least is finalized. So that is what we'll do when we come back from our final break of the show. So stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.